Welcome back to Beak Reel Rant, your favorite LUTV segment where we talk movies, TV, and everything film. I'm, of course, your host, Evan Wolford. And today I'm wearing a suit because we have a special episode for you all, the award season episode. The award season finally is coming to an end with the Oscars premiering tonight at 6 p.m. on ABC. And while studios haven't known to just throw money at the Academy in hopes for a win, it's been found out the Oscar voters don't even watch all the movies that were nominated. The Oscars are still important, and I plan to watch them tonight. The road to the Oscars is a long and treacherous one. To actually submit a feature-length film to the Oscars, you have to have had a wide theatrical release in 6 qualifying metro areas like New York and LA, or have been part of one of the major film festivals like Sundance, South by Southwest, or Cannes before a theatrical release. But most Oscar-nominated films are also nominated for a whole lot of other awards like the Critics Awards, the Actors Award, which is formerly the Screen Actor Guild Award, and the BAFTAs. If you haven't seen anything but the Actors Awards, Seth Rogen accepted an award for the studio for the late, great Catherine O'Hara, and his speech was honestly so endearing. It popped up. I watched it. It was beautiful. But if you didn't catch the Regina report about the BAFTAs, you really missed out. Basically, while presenting an award at the BAFTAs, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo of Sinners had the N-word shouted at them by a man with Tourette's, who was also there for his own movie. Marty Supreme lost all 11 of the awards, was nominated for a record loss. And personally, I was anti the slur and pro the Marty Supreme loss. Throughout most of the award circuit, one battle after another has been winning Best Picture or the equivalent to it. I believe it won the Best Film at the BAFTAs. I hope that Sinners wins, but I don't think it will. Being nominated for 16 Oscars was a record, and I can genuinely see it winning at least 5, hopefully 8, including writing and an actor in a leading role. Since you all obviously watched my rants over the Best Picture nominees, though, which you can still find in the description, you know I'm not that big of a fan of Marty Supreme. I think I even said how much I will crash out if it wins Best Casting, since it casted Kevin O'Leary, a billionaire, to play a billionaire. So he just played himself and got more money in the process, and he was like, wow, I didn't have control for once. Crazy. I really honestly thought that, Timothée Chalamet would win Best Actor in a leading role, but if you haven't seen what just happened lately, Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor at the Actors Awards, which is big, because I have a bias towards Sinners, but it deserves it, and bunch of the Actors Awards nominees and winners have won at the Oscars later, but Timothée Chalamet also dissed ballet and opera hard, which upset a lot of people, especially here at the College of Fine Arts and Communication. Our theater and dance majors, not very happy about that. And, given how hard he committed to the marketing of Marty Supreme, can't really tell if he's, still in character or if it's genuinely him. But I hope it hurts his Oscar chances because Michael B. Jordan honestly put the better performance out, in my opinion. Both did great, but Michael B. Jordan. I hope that Sinners will sweep and One Battle After Another will take second place, but it's likely going to be the opposite with One Battle After Another on top and Sinners right on top next to it. I do have $30 bet on the Oscars, though. So hopefully my prediction as the winners will be somewhat accurate. I forgot what I bet on, though. So, hopefully just win. I predicted that Everything Everywhere All at Once was going to win Best Picture and Director, and I won both. So, yeah, bet your money on what I'm saying, clearly. I would love to go to each and every category with you, a bit more in detail. But I only have time to talk about what I think will win Best Picture. So I'm going to talk about this further on a tournament bracket right over there. And we're going to get started. It's going to be great. And, yeah. Get your popcorn. Action! All right, I'm very excited for this tournament bracket I have set up for y'all. I've been very busy with my own soon-to-be Oscar-nominated short film, so I did not have the time to make this tournament bracket. The very wonderful Regina of the Regina Report made this bracket, and thank you very much. It looks awesome. And so since there's 10 films nominated for Best Picture here, the bracket is split up so that these 2 films are facing off against themselves, and then they're facing off against 6 other films. 2 of them are in a bye. So the winner of Sinners versus F1 will face off against another film, and Marty Supreme One Battle After Another, the same for them. But then there's 2 other groups that are facing off against themselves, and then those will condense into 4 final ones, and then that'll be the final 4. Best Picture is a little weird because for most other categories, they tend to only have 5 nominees. Makeup and art department, I'm pretty sure, they can have less. But Best Picture, it usually has a lot more. There's 5 to 10. Sometimes they have 9, but this is 10. 10 films, a lot of films to go through. And so the first on the bracket is Sinners versus F1. F1 is actually the only film on the Best Picture nominee list I did not have a chance to watch. I thought about it many times, and I was like, I should watch this. And it looks really good. I just didn't see that one, so obviously I'm going to go with Sinners on this one just because of that. Also, vampires or cars. The only thing that can beat a car movie is a vampire movie, and the only thing that can beat a vampire movie is vampires in cars doing crazy stuff. But this isn't Death Proof, so Sinners obviously going to beat that. One thing that's also important to mention, the criteria for this bracket I think it's very different what I think should win and what I think will win. So I'm going to go going over a bit of both, but the final Best Picture winner is going to be what I think will win, not necessarily what I think should win. So I think that Sinners both should and will win over F1 here. Next up, we have Marty Supreme versus One Battle After Another. These are both very frantic, high-energy movies. Hopefully some of the energy I'm giving y'all right now. And they're both very long, too. Tyler, the Creator, great performance in Marty Supreme. Leo and Chase Infinity, great performances, One Battle After Another. And they're both very high energy. But I think One Battle After Another has a greater chance of winning just because Paul Thomas Anderson is an Oscar favorite. And it's long. It resonates with today more than Marty Supreme resonating with today. It's more about the past and is about the present. And Oscar voters tend to vote more about films that have touched our culture and the now more than what they have before. And honestly, I think One Battle After Another is a way, way, way better movie than Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme's just okay. One Battle After Another, at least 9 stars, right? So the winners of these two tournament brackets we have here are Sinners, and One Battle After Another. Two very great movies, and I think they're great. Yeah. So coming up here onto the bracket, we have Sinners facing up against Hamnet, Frankenstein against Begonia, Train Dreams against One Battle After Another, and the two international films, Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, facing off against each other. So first up, we have Sinners and Hamnet. I went into Hamnet thinking I wasn't going to like it because it's about the making of Hamlet. How is that interesting at all? Oh my God. I almost cried like 3 different times, and as I'm walking out of the theater, the entire row of old women behind me had tissues in their eyes because it was beautiful. Oh my God. The cinematography, the colors, everything, just because it was really, really, really good. And I would not be disappointed if this won Best Picture. It's very good. But Sinners is objectively better, and I think has a higher chance of winning. Hamnet is incredible, though. I would definitely go watch Hamnet. I almost was going to do a review over Hamnet, but I would have had too many good things to say about it, and I was feeling, negative. So I was like, I'm going to talk about Marty Supreme, which I have more negative things to say about. Because Hamnet is incredible. Definitely go watch it. If Jessie Buckley doesn't win the acting award for that, then there's no purpose for it. But it is also really funny. If you've been paying attention, Jessie Buckley, who played the main actress in Hamnet, is now in a movie called The Bride, which is basically a Frankenstein fan fiction. Been getting terrible reviews. I kind of want to see it because it reminds me of the schlocky sort of shticks like Cocaine Bear, which is one of my favorite theater experiences. And I'm sure it's going to be awful, but it looks crazy, and she's going to star in that right after. So that means Sinners is going to be the Sinners versus Hamnet. Next up, we have Frankenstein and Begonia. Both of these are kind of sci-fi-y, and I honestly think Frankenstein was better than Begonia. VistaVision cameras, which are really cool, is what Begonia was shot on. Begonia was shot on this large format camera called a VistaVision, which was really popular in the 50s and 60s. Alfred Hitchcock used it a lot, and instead of putting the film in horizontally, they put it in vertically, or the other way around. It's a little on the actual usage of the camera, but it's a really cool camera, and it gives them 8 perforations instead of 4. A large format, epic camera, and it was shot really well, and they kept it in the original size that it's in, which is this sort of weirder aspect ratio, which gives it this sort of unique feel, and the colors of Begonia, really nice. I wasn't as fond of the story, though. The acting was fabulous, but Frankenstein, although some people had some critiques with the actual adaptation from the book, it didn't get everything right, apparently. I think it was beautiful, and it gave us that gothic dread really, really well. Guillermo del Toro is also just really good. Personally, I think Frankenstein has a better chance of winning and should win more than Begonia, so Frankenstein's going to win on that bracket right there. Next up, we have Train Dreams versus One Battle After Another. For me, this is easily One Battle After Another. I was not the hugest fan of Train Dreams. I had a friend that was like, this is awesome. And it's definitely his kind of movie. There's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't sort of my vibe. Cinematography was incredible. The natural lighting, just everything was peak. The colors, beautifully shot. It was just a little too slow for me. And they did both deal with themes of loss, which I loved that. And I thought they did those themes really well. It was just I don't think it was as good as One Battle After Another or has as big of a chance of winning. Cinematography was a knockout, though. Definitely should watch it just for the cinematography. So One Battle After Another is going to win that bracket there. And finally, on this side of the bracket, we have our 2 international films that were nominated for an Oscar, Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. They were both nominated for Best Picture, and the last Best Picture winner that was also an international film was the only Best Picture winner that's been an international film so far, which is Parasite. I have this on DVD. It's phenomenal. I love it. I showed it to my girlfriend and her sister. They thought it was awesome too. On the DVD, you have it in color and black and white and director's commentary. I've only seen it in black and white once, but it was also thrilling. This is now just me talking about Parasite because I love Parasite. But both these two films are pretty good too. It's always worth it to watch an international film so you can see different culture, different ways that other countries take filmmaking. And The Secret Agent from Brazil and Sentimental Value is from, I believe, Norway. I didn't know going into Sentimental Value that it was an international film, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I didn't love Sentimental Value as nearly as much as my friends that watched it with me, but it was still a really good story, and it's worth a nomination. I don't think it should win, but it's definitely worth a nomination. Secret Agent, I'll be honest, I don't understand what's happening there. There was a leg and a shark, and that was cool. The really nice colors, rich hues, and it showcased like the culture of Brazil really nicely. I did not understand the plot. I thought it was like trying to be surrealist, but also wasn't. I read somewhere that it was supposed to showcase how the history of Brazil in that time is hard to find, but I just didn't understand what was happening. So, yeah, personally, I would go with Sentimental Value. I would rewatch Sentimental Value more than I would The Secret Agent, and I think it was a better movie overall. So, the final four movies progressing on to this bracket. We got Sinners, Frankenstein, One Better Off Another, and Sentimental Value. So, these are our final four. Sinners facing off against Frankenstein. These two also deal with the supernatural in very different ways. Honestly, Frankenstein takes the supernatural in a better way because it's a more important part of the story. Vampires aren't necessarily as important to the story of Sinners than people make it seem. They are. Remy is definitely one of my favorite characters. He was just a funny guy. But, they're not as important to the story as they are in Frankenstein. And Frankenstein deals with it really well, too. But here's the thing. The music in both of them is phenomenal, too. But Sinners, incredible music. I love Oneers so much. And the Oneer and Sinners, peak, awesome, absolute cinema. And just overall, I think it is a better movie than Frankenstein. They both have incredible production design. Frankenstein is slightly better. But overall, as a movie, I think Sinners is just this much better and also has a higher chance of winning. Though, shout out Guillermo del Toro, I think Sinners would win and should win more than Frankenstein. So next up, we have our last of the semifinal here, which is the Sentimental Value versus One Battle After Another. And I've got to give this to One Battle After Another. It's just the better movie. It's longer, but I would rewatch it more. And I've already started rewatching it again, and I was just like, I'm not in the mood. Also shot in a VistaVision camera, which is a super cool camera. If VistaVision is watching this and you want me to test out this camera or like come look at it, I'm available. So definitely come talk to me about shooting on your VistaVision camera because they also shot in VistaVision. I love the way it captures light. It's just so pretty. And the cinematography on One Battle After Another, I liked it more than Sentimental Value, although Sentimental Value was beautifully shot as well and had this weird editing style though overall. One Battle After Another I think just is a better movie and is more likely to win Best Picture. And so that brings our final two movies to, you guessed it, Sinners or One Battle After Another. These are the two movies that have been sort of fighting the most at the award ceremonies. Sinners did just win Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan, which, really sweet speech. And One Battle After Another just won the BAFTA for Best Film. So, which of these films will win? That is a question on everybody's mind, basically Sinners or One Battle After Another. Most people are leaning towards One Battle After Another, myself included, but, I want Sinners to win more because I think it's the better movie. I think it'll age better. I've rewatched it more already. But One Battle After Another, still a great movie, and I think it is capturing a moment in time just in a much different way. They're both incredible movies, and you should definitely watch both of them. If you had the chance to watch them in a theater at all, I'm sure it was awesome for you. This past week has been the Oscar movie week, so you can go watch them in the theaters, rewatch them. And I didn't do that, unfortunately, but all the movies I did watch in theaters, I watched Sinners and One Battle After Another in theaters. Beautiful, awesome. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Crazy ride here. And both are great, but I think ultimately the movie that will win Best Picture is the clicker wasn't working that time, but One Battle After Another. So that means One Battle After Another is my prediction for Best Picture winner here. And if there's a second place Best Picture winner, I would give it to Sinners. The other 8 films are still phenomenal, great watches. You should definitely watch them at least once, because even if you don't necessarily like the movie, it's still adding something. These are still movies that are trying something out. I didn't necessarily like the way Marty Supreme tried something out, but I really loved the way Hamnet tried stuff out. The blocking, incredible. All these movies definitely have some merit for you to watch overall, and they're all the best pictures in our heart. And that was a little cheesy, but wrapping it up for us today, One Battle After Another as my prediction for Best Picture winner. Hopefully I'm right. Place your bets. Oscars are tonight, 6 p.m., ABC. Definitely watch. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good jazz. That's it for us today on Beak Reel Rant. Y'all have a great night watching the Oscars. And for more LUTV content, you should follow us here, Facebook, X, and Instagram, and YouTube. And for more content from Red Beak Productions, which is our film club on campus that will very soon be nominated for an Oscar, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and that's it for now. But you should definitely follow us there. Y'all have a great night, and y'all make y'all's life the best picture you can.